You know, what I feel is oftentimes the people that we love most, they hurt us the most. You know, and sometimes I have to tell myself, you know what, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for even expecting them to show up in the way that I show for them. But you know what, I heard this quote, it said, appreciate everything, expect nothing. We have to appreciate more of what we have for ourselves. You know, because when we start being unappreciative, we start expecting people to do things for us. You know, we start expecting people to go out of their way for us. And that leaves you with some disappointment. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to have trust in a friend or have trust in a family member or have trust in your woman or have trust in your man. But it comes a time where you're expecting too much. You're giving too much of you. And you know what? It's okay to be disappointed sometimes. Disappointed in people's actions. You know, I'm that type of person who, when I see the potential in you, I expect you to live to that expectation. And I'm not saying you in specific, I'm saying to whoever I give my love to, I'm expecting you to give that back to me in return. Some way, some shape, some form. Maybe you just have to listen to me. Maybe you just have to give me a good conversation. Maybe you just have to give me a compliment, something. Give me something. But sometimes it just seems like I have to accept that some people are only meant to give love to themselves. And, you know, I'm that type of person. I'm going to continue to love. But you know what? Sometimes I expect people to be so great. And I'm not saying that they're not great, but I'm saying that I get disappointed sometimes. And you know what? When in the moments that you get disappointed, you have to take a step back and realize that it's just time for you to love yourself some more. You know, that's what it's all about. Sometimes the people you love are going to hurt you the most. And it may feel like you have nobody. It may feel like you're so lonely, but you're not. Because you got God. And as long as you have yourself, secondly, as long as you have yourself, you have somebody. You know, you're not alone. And I know it can be difficult because you give your heart to so many different people. You give your love away. You know what I'm saying? And that's a beautiful thing, right? But it's not up to you to decide what they do with your love. You see, oftentimes people will either fill your cup back up or they're going to pour that water out. They're going to pour your love out. You know what I'm saying? When you fill somebody up with love, they have two options, either to throw it away or to use it. Right? Some people use, like, I'm giving you love right now. I'm giving you a piece of my mind, a piece of my soul, a piece of my heart. And you have two options to do with this. You may like, comment, you're even watching it, so obviously you're giving me some love back. But how are you going to use it for yourself? You know, some people are just so selfish and they don't even see what we're doing for them. And some people don't even see the love that we're giving to them. So yeah, it's going to leave your heart aching for a little bit. It's going to leave you in some disappointment. You know, and I'm sorry for even thinking that you were thinking about me. I'm sorry for even thinking that we were going to be this wonderful couple, because I am that type of person. I just imagine things and I fall in love with how people could be, and I fall in love with the potential of people. But I think that's just why I get left in disappointment. You know what I'm saying? But the mind accepts things faster than the heart accepts things. You know, and that's another quote that I heard from somewhere. You know, it takes time for the mind to accept what the heart hasn't accepted yet. So that's why we still fall back into overthinking. That's why we just fall back into the same patterns. I'm talking about especially with people, right? Because when we infatuate ourselves with their love, when we twist our souls with their love, and we have these interlinked chains with each other, expect less. Because when you love somebody, you're expecting love back in return. So I say this, if you are loving somebody, you have to learn to love them from a distance. You have to learn how to give and to let go. Because when you give, you also receive. And a lot of times when we give and we don't receive in the physical aspect, when we don't receive a kiss, when we don't receive a hug, when we don't receive, that text back, we don't receive, like I said, things in the physical, we feel like it's so detrimental to our emotions. I feel like we get lost when these people leave us or when we get disappointed, man. But I'm telling you that when you give, you receive love. It should feel good when you give. It should feel good when you give and you get nothing back in return, because that's who you are as a person. Right? So don't let that change who you are. Do not let these disappointments from these other people change who you are. Because at the end of the day, this is your gift. It's giving. Okay? And you have to teach yourself to say that it's okay to not receive sometimes. It's okay to not accept. It's okay to not accept the love from other people. Right? Because not all love is meant for you. I guess that's what I can say. So whatever you're going through, whatever person that's been troubling your life recently, or whatever person that keeps popping up in your mind, just remember that it's a process. You have to teach your heart day by day to accept disappointments from even the people you love. I remember there were plenty of situations where I was literally checking their Snap score. For those of you who have Snapchat, I was literally checking the Snapchat. Bang, bang, bang. Oh my gosh, Snap score's going up, but she ain't texting me back though. Oh my goodness, who's she talking to? Oh my god. You know what? I let go. One day she's texting me again. She said, I thought we were friends. How? I thought we was cool. How? You did that. You brought this out of me. But some people can't see that until you show them until you show them themselves. Some people can't even see themselves. It can be hard for people to understand because they don't see what they're doing to you in that moment. But I'm not that type of person to give revenge. Sometimes you have to choose yourself. I was left with so much disappointment that I had to stop talking to you. I had to release myself from you. I had to unchain myself from what you've caused me. That I'm free from disappointment because I expect nothing from you anymore. That's what peace is. That's where my peace comes from. My peace comes from not having to worry about what this person is doing. My peace comes from finally living for myself. My peace comes from finally doing the things that make me feel good and not relying on your opinion and not relying on you to give me things that I can give to myself. That's what love feels like to me. And it's amazing. So if you're struggling with anything, teach yourself that it's going to be okay day by day. Take it step by step. And I promise you. What's up, dude? I guess he needed to hear my message. I guess bro needed to hear my message. It was a beetle. I heard that those bring insane luck too, so maybe I'm making some money today. Hey. Maybe I'm making some money. All right, I'm done. But y'all have a blessed day. If you guys want to, the method that I use to bring your person back to you, $7 in my description, man. Y'all go check that out. I love you guys. Stay blessed. Shalom.